was staying in Rajagaha. On the mountain called Watcher's Peak or Gijjakuta. This mountain, Watcher's Peak, because of its appearance. To the far, from a distance, it looked like a head of a vulture. That's why it's called Vulture's Peak. King of the Magadha, Rajagaha, Bimbisara, had built a chamber for the Buddha on this Vulture's Peak. This chamber of the Buddha is usually called the Gandha Kuti because it was built by sandalwood. Even in the Jetavana monastery, there was a chamber for the Buddha, Gandha Kuti. Anyone who enters the Jetavana, they feel the fragrance of sandalwood emanating from this chamber. Hence it is called the Gandha Kuti, the chamber of fragrance. While Buddha was staying on this chamber, Devadatta, sworn enemy from lifetime to lifetime until he attains nibbāna. This Devadatta paid a visit to the Buddha with several requests. These requests of the Devadatta are something that you cannot give, cannot fulfill. These requests were planned well, knowing really well that Buddha is going to reject. Then he can create the schism in the Sangha. Clearly knowing that Buddha is going to reject, Devadatta planned these requests. The first one is that the monastics must live only in the forests. They should be living only in the forest. No village temples, no temples in the cities. They are to be live only in the forest. Forest is good for meditation, but in the forest you don't get any challenge. Challenge to see whether you are really developed, transformed, changed. If there are no vehicles on the road, how can you know that you are a good driver or not? When there are challenges to your life, show whether you are developed or not, whether you have the good qualities or not. When the employees are very good, fulfilling their jobs very well, the boss can be very happy. The boss can be contented. The boss can be compassionate. The boss can be loving, kind. The boss can be very virtuous when the workers are doing well. But once the workers started doing the opposite, not doing well, not fulfilling their duties, then you can see the real nature of the boss. His anger you can see. His restlessness you can see. His dirty heart you can see with the bad words. Forest can be good for meditation, but to test, you have to come to the city. You have to come to the market to see whether you can be silent when there is noise around you. In the forest, anybody can be silent, but only in the market you can check when others are making noise, whether you can be silent or not. Forest is not the testing ground. Market is the testing ground. Yeah. Therefore, Buddha did not want to promulgate such a precept, such a rule that monks should stay in the forest. Of course, it is good for the respect, the veneration. If you live in the forest, people will respect you than you are living in the Shalom city. Good for the respect, for nothing else. Yeah. The second request is that the monks should wear only the Pāṅsukula robes. What are these Pāṅsukula robes? Pāṅsu means soil. Akula means smeared, soil smeared. That means those days some monks prepared robes by the pieces of cloth taken out of heap of garbages, taken out of the dead bodies, taken out from under the soil, the pieces of cloth thrown away to the garbage, with the dead body. The robes prepared with these pieces of clothes are called Pāṅsukula robes. There were monks who wore only these robes. They did not wear the robes offered by the devotees. They wore only these Pāṅsukula robes. Yeah. Now the Devadatta want to make it a legal rule, wanted to legalize it that monks should by rule wear only the Pāṅsukula robes. Buddha rejected that one also. No. Then the third precept came that the monks should live only by going on their alms rounds, only through Pindapata. That means you are prohibited to accept dana brought to the temple or invitations to the houses. Only with their alms round, with the collected food, they have to survive. Buddha rejected that also. Then came the rule that the monks should not eat fish or meat. They have to be vegetarians. Good, if someone can follow. But it is individual, personal principle. It is not to make it public, make it a public rule that everybody should be vegetarian. It is a personal, individual choice. It is good if someone practices, but it is not good if you force others also to do it. Buddha rejected that one also. Now how many rules are there? 3. Really 3 rules? 4 rules already. You missed already one. Living in the forest, wear Pāṅsukula robes, not to accept Pindapata, not to accept any houses or anywhere, but going on alms round. Then not to eat meat or fish. Yeah. Then the last one is that he should live under trees. Shouldn't live under houses, in the houses. Yeah. It would be nice if he says the monks should live on the trees. But yeah, it would be very nice. But he said the monks should be rukkamula, live under the trees, not in the kutis, not in the house. Now this is clearly looking down upon the Buddha, disparaging the Buddha. Buddha is living in a sandalwood chamber, very beautiful sandalwood chamber. Now it is clearly looking down upon the Buddha. With these rules to promulgate, Venerable Buddha has sworn enemy. What is the name? Devadatta came in. What the Buddha said? Buddha said, if anyone wants to follow, let them follow. I am not going to make it a rule. Yeah? Because these are not so necessary for the holy life to live. But anyone with their personal preferences, if they want to follow, they can follow. There is no harm. And there is no harm even though they don't follow it. Compared to the goal of Buddhism, these are just simple things. Then of course, the Devadatta's goal or Devadatta's aim was fulfilled. Devadatta wanted to make a problem, make a separation. When you want to separate from someone, you know what to do. Follow Devadatta. Make a request that cannot be given. Then you can separate. Yeah? People do that. Even sometimes the children do it for the parents. Requests are given or demands are given that the parents cannot fulfill. Yeah? I must be given the greater part of the dowry, greater part of the inheritance, not the others. When somebody make you a request that cannot be fulfilled, you know what their ulterior motive. They want to separate from you. That's what Devadatta wanted. Based on this excuse, 5 unfulfilled requests, Devadatta started creating a schism. Now after Devadatta left, Buddha addressed the monks in the temple. Yeah? After that, he wanted to explain the goal of Buddhism. That people who left their household life in the beginning, even today, there are people who live their household life seeing the suffering of the world. That is why they live their household life, seeing the suffering of the life. Yeah? Because household life is, of course, we know there are so much of sufferings. It is based upon suffering. So seeing the suffering, they live the household life. They become monks at the later part of their life. Sometimes in the 20s, sometimes in the 40s. I became monk at the age of 14. I didn't see such things. I just liked this life. And somehow I stuck in it. I couldn't escape. I couldn't live after that. I just remained in it. Yeah? Now I'm learning these things. But most of the times, Buddha's time, people left the household life seeing what? Seeing the suffering side of life. What did they see? The birth is suffering. They saw birth. They saw the suffering. Old age is suffering. Getting sick with the old age is inevitable. They saw it. Suffering. They saw their parents getting old. The parents suffering, their sicknesses they saw. And ultimately they die. And within that, in the meantime, heartbroken with the unfulfilled expectations. Yeah? Your expectations are never guaranteed to be fulfilled. Most of our expectations ended up being frustrations, suffering. Uniting with the people that you don't like, and disuniting with the people you like, both suffering. Ultimately, they found this whole life is nothing but suffering. Seeing that suffering, they left the household life. And they started living a monastic life. When they start to live a monastic life, what happened? The gain happens. People, you get things. People offer you things. And the fame happens. You become famous. Yeah? Then what happened? Then you start comparing with others. Attu kansana. You highlight yourself. You laud himself. You praise yourself. Because I get more things than other monks. I am more famous than other monks. Yeah? Paravambana, look down upon others. Gain and fame. Because you renounced. If you renounce many things, you become more famous. If you renounce little things, a poor man renouncing and becoming monk is not so significant, right? But when the millionaire's son, billionaire or millionaire is he? Billionaire's son became a monk, whole world is talking about it. If he is attached to that fame and the gain because of his renunciation, then what happened? He is stuck there. He creates pride in him and he looked down upon others. Buddha gave 2 words for that. Attu kansana, laud himself, praise himself, compliment himself, and paravambana, disparage, look down upon others. These 2 things happen. That is what happened when you are attached, when you feel like you are fulfilled with that fame, with that gain, fame and gain and honor. Now, Buddha is very good at similes. He is a master of similes. He showed a very strong tree nearby to these monks where they were sitting. And he says, monk, a man who is looking for the heartwood of the tree, without going to the heartwood, he goes to the twigs and leaves of the tree. Does he get the heartwood? And does he going to fulfill his wish? No, he is not going to fulfill his wish, and he is not going to fulfill his purpose. He will be disappointed. He will be suffering. He will be sad. He will not be happy. Because instead of going to the heartwood, he went to the twigs and leaves. The twigs and leaves are just like the fame and the gain. Gain and honor, you can say. This is the first simile. Yeah. It can happen. When you are more respected by people, you get more things, okay? Then what happened? You compare with others. Yeah, I'm getting more things. I'm being respected more. Sometimes this respect and these receiving things can go wrong, can harm people. That's why when we became monks, when we were young, whatever people offer us are not supposed to keep with us. Whatever doesn't matter. Have to go to the temple temple treasury, temple collection. From the temple collection, we have to request and get it. We have to make a request and get it. Yeah. We are not supposed to keep anything. Yeah. I remember when I was a very young monk, I had to go to the Sangha college to study. Every day I had to go to the teacher and ask for the bus fare. I asked him, why don't you give me the whole bus fare for the month? Then this trouble is not there. He said, no way. For few years, every day, the college was in the evening. I had to go after the lunch dana to his room and beg for the bus fare. Practicing humility. Very important. Otherwise, with the people respect you and with the things you get it, you start creating what? The pride. The people did not like to give any money to the monks. Those days, now the society is changed. But those days, they did not like to give any type of material. I mean, in the money sense, they did not give. Yeah. So, it is good to not to create pride on this gain and honor. This is the first place you are stuck. Your aim with the practice of the Dhamma is go to the heartwood. You know, the simile of the heartwood is the nibbāna. But you are stuck at the twigs and leaves. When you are stuck and when you create the pride at the gains and the honor you get just because you are in the robes. Yeah. Then the second group of people who was not disparaging others or praising themselves because of the gain and honor, then they started practicing their precepts properly. They practice their whatever observed precepts in the proper manner. Develop the virtues. And because of these virtues, then they started creating pride within them. Yeah, I am more virtuous than others. Isn't there people like this in the society? They look down upon others based on their virtues. They have created pride in it. I am much more greater virtuous person than others. Look down upon others. Laud himself. Highlight himself. Are there people doing like this? Yes, they do that. In the Sangha society there are monks like that. And in the household society also, among the lay people, there are people like that. You practice your virtues not to talk about it even. If you talk about your virtues for the sake of helping others to practice like you, then it is good. But most of the people talk about their virtues just to look down upon others. You see, I'm better than you. Yeah. People do that. I know vegetarians do that. You practice vegetarian out of compassion for the living beings, and out of sometimes the metta, loving kindness, not to look down upon others. But because of these virtues, you cannot eat them. You are not supposed to look down upon the people who eat meat. Yeah. So virtues are not for that purpose. But if you have that purpose of highlighting yourself, lauding yourself, and looking down upon others, attum kangsana paravambana, then Buddha compared those people are like the people without going to the heartwood, they went to the outer bark, to the appearance, outer bark. And they cut the outer bark and took them home, thinking that I am carrying the hardwood. Yeah. That is the second group of people. The third one is they exceeded gain and honor. They did not create pride on it. They exceeded concentration, virtues, the precepts, moralities, their qualities. They exceeded without creating pride in them. And they are stuck at the concentration, jhanas, samadhi, concentration. Meditators. The people who practice, people who meditate are very proud sometimes. Have you seen such people? Very proud. Actually, the ego, the pride is the last to die in the meditation, true. Ego is the last to die. Pride is the last to die. Pride can be fed. Pride can be enhanced in the meditation if you are not careful. Yeah. They are very proud and they are stuck. They are stuck where? In the inner bark. They are stuck there. With that pride, that very pride became their barrier. Their barrier. It happens. You look down upon others with the concentration. I have told you this story many a times, so I'm not going to repeat. The young monk who achieved the jhanas and the psychological supernatural powers, and the teacher who was arahant, who did not want to show any supernatural powers. You know this story? Yes. I have told this story. If anybody doesn't know, ask a person who knows. Yeah. That shows how harmful is that pride for that person. He is stuck there. He doesn't want to develop further. He doesn't want to continue his practice because he has developed a pride in his achievement. And he looked down upon others. You see, you cannot do this. And he starts showing off, exhibiting. Yeah? Showing off to the others that your powers. This is what the Devadatta clearly did. Devadatta had jhanas. These Rupavachara, fine material jhanas, he had. And he had the knowledge of performing supernatural power feats. He performed these supernatural powers, and even king of the Magadha had a son called Ajasatta. This Ajasatta came into the fold of Devadatta because Devadatta could show supernatural powers, psychological powers. Yeah. It is like that. He created great pride in himself. He thought, I can lead the Sangha. I have powers. I am so powerful. I can lead the Sangha better than the Buddha. Then he went to the Buddha and said, you see, you are getting old. Hand me over the Sangha. I can lead the Sangha. And the Buddha asked him, who told you that I am leading the Sangha? The Sangha is leading themselves. Nobody leads the Sangha. I never thought myself that I am the leader of the Sangha. Nobody needs to lead the Sangha. They are led by themselves. And Buddha rejected that also. You can see the pride created by this concentration, development of the meditation. And how they start looking down upon others. How many Devadattas are now in the society who start practicing and became like that? So proud. It is very hard to find a meditator down to earth, simple, full of patience, accepting. It is very hard to find such a meditator because they have created or they have gone to the wrong track of developing pride in it. So this sutta is very important for us to understand that what the Buddha meant with his practice. It is not to stop anywhere until you attain nibbāna. But if you develop a pride in your practice, in your concentration, you are stuck there. I can see many people when they are meditating, they close their eyes and meditate, slightly open the eyes and see how others are practicing. I have seen, I am sitting in front of them. I have seen that. Comparison, competition, even in the meditation. Yeah? Even in the meditation, that competition is there. You are in the wrong track then. Yeah? So Buddha says those people are like the people who are attached to the inner bark or who take the inner bark home without the hardwood. They lost the hardwood. They think they have achieved, but actually they have stuck and they have taken home only the inner bark. And then comes the next type of people who develop the jhana to the Sāropama level, become Sāropama. Knowledge and vision. Knowledge and vision is nothing but Sāropama. Jnana dassana. Jnana is knowledge. Dassana is vision. Who have developed the meditation or the practice up to the level of Sāropama, but still they develop that pride. I am Sāropama. I am bound to be enlightened in 7 lifetimes maximum. And they develop that pride and then paravambana, look down upon others. They do that. You can see the pride can be managing to arise even to a Sāropama. How careful a person to be. Yeah? Even at that level, the pride can seep into that person, and that person becomes stuck there. He does not develop further. Buddha said, those people are the people who take the sapwood. You know the sapwood? Around the hardwood there is a kind of a wood which is not so strong. Same wood, there's less strong one. If you make furniture out of them, they won't last long. These people are the people who take the sapwood home. They have entered to the center, but still not to the real center. They are stuck at the sapwood. They are stuck at the outside, on the periphery, on the boundary, Sāropama level. Attain to Sāropama, but develop a pride in it. Yeah? You can see, when you are doing good, Dhammachari, living on the Dhamma, you can create pride easily. But when you are doing bad, you cannot do that, right? We cannot say sinner, right? The people who do bad or people who don't do good, they don't create pride also. But the people who are said to be do-gooders or good doers, whatever it is, those people can create pride. And that pride is their obstacle. So when you are engaging in this work of Dhamma, getting more and more knowledge on the Dhamma, and putting this knowledge into the practice more and more, then you have to become more and more like a tree laden with fruits. A tree without fruits never bent down, but a tree with the fruits always bent down to the earth. When you are developing your interiormost, your innermost core of your life, that is called the nibbāna. On this path, when you are going on, remember, the pride can be your obstacle. These situations would happen when you enter to the path of the Dhamma. Gain and honor, surface level it happens. As soon as you enter to the robes, enter to this Dhamma path, you get these things. Then if you develop virtues, better, that is one of the necessity. But still you can develop pride. You see, I am virtuous than others. Very easy, right? Than others. But this which happened in your spirituality is the same thing which happened in the exteriority. In the exterior, right? Not riti. Exterior. I thought it is the same thing. Anyway, in the outside world, we try to earn more and more money and to show that we are richer than others, wealthier than others. We tend to get more and more degrees, more and more certificates, that we can have a longer and longer name, which have longer and longer honoraries. Sometimes our name becoming shorter and shorter. Titles are getting longer. For what? To look down upon others. Without looking down upon others, we cannot develop a pride. This is the practice we do. With the materials, with the titles, with the money, with the popularity. More and more you get these things, you can find their pride also getting bigger and bigger. Ego also getting bigger and bigger. But the same practice, when these people being fed up and seeing the suffering, unsatisfactory nature of these things, they come into the spiritual side. What happened? With the spiritual development, they started developing pride on those spiritual development. Are they doing the same thing or not? They are doing the same thing. They developed pride with the materials and they are developing pride with the spiritual wealths. Now you are stuck again because the same habit pattern is practicing in a different direction. That's all. Now you are stuck. You cannot improve anymore. So looking for the hardwood, you are stuck at the twigs and leaves, on the outer bark, on the inner bark, and even when you are on the verge of your hardwood, verge of the nibbāna, you are stuck at the sapwood, creating the pride of Sāropama, becoming Sāropama. Because Mahā is to vanish when you attain to enlightenment. Mahā is what? The pride. The Pali word for Mahā is pride. So there is a danger you can develop pride, the Mahā, M-A-N-A, even when you become Sāropama. You are stuck there. You take sapwood home. Then Buddha said, the wise person, seeing the reality of it, without developing pride, in any of these gain and honor, virtues, concentration, knowledge and vision, he goes to the center, goes to the ultimate goal of his practice, that is the nibbāna, the unwavering liberation, and he gets the heartwood of the tree. He attains to nibbāna. The one who did not create pride in any of those former virtues, former development of his character, former transformations. That is the person who gets the heartwood. That is the person who gets into the nibbāna. As the last declaration, Buddha says, so this holy life, bhikkhus, does not have gain, honor, renown for its benefit. It is not the benefit of the holy life, or the attainment of virtue for its benefit, or the attainment of concentration for its benefit, or the knowledge and vision for its benefit, but it is the unshakable deliverance of mind. That is the goal of this holy life. That is the goal of holy life. Its heartwood and its end. So understanding the goal of the holy life, Buddha explained with the use of a tree, a woodcutter, how he should get into the hardwood and get the benefit out of it. With this simile, Buddha explained, when you go into the interiormost, when you go to your inner being, when you go to your liberation, because you saw the exterior is suffering, outside is suffering, you start going into your inner being, but these obstacles would arise to you. If you cannot overcome the obstacles, you are stuck there. Okay? Sadhu. Sadhu.